Welcome back, party people. You are listening to Crossplay, our video game podcast here at the Whatnauts. It is Monday, July 20th. Yes, it is a Monday. We're recording on a Monday. Get over it. This is episode 34, and coming up on today's show, we are going to be giving our first impressions of Paper Mario and Ghost of Tsushima. Sony has been increasing production of the PlayStation 5, and Microsoft is bringing Xcloud to Game Pass. We will be talking about all of that and more in just a sec, but for now, my name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined, as always, by Ignacio Rojas.
Hey, how's it going, Kyle?
It's going pretty good, man. I had a weird day yesterday.
Yeah?
Had some family stuff come up in the morning, so I had to postpone the review show. And then by the end of that day, or I guess like mid-afternoon, I started to not feel well. Mm-hmm. And that's when you and I were going to record Crossplay, but that is why we are here on a Monday. But besides that, I'm feeling much better.
Okay, good to hear.
Yeah. What's up with you? What's been going on in the world of Ignacio?
Not much. Yeah, like I said before, I'm in vacation, and so vacation during the times of coronavirus it means it's very uneventful. Very much is just I wake up very late, I eat lunch, I'll work out for an hour or so. I'll take a shower.
Okay.
Not much after that.
Sounds like a good life. What you need to do, since you probably can't go out to the pool or something, you need to just buy a kiddie pool and fill it up and sit out there with a giant margarita or something.
Yeah, I don't know if that would work right now because, like I said last week, it's winter over here, so that would be pretty cold if I were to jump on a pool.
I guess so. I mean, you could put hot water in the pool.
Yeah, make it a hot tub.
It's a kind of the hot tub. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Let's see. Let's dive right into some of the games because I'm excited to talk about these.
Yeah.
I will start. Since you guys are sick of me telling you all about Gears Tactics, the last thing that I will say is that I finally beat it.
Finally.
Yeah, so did it on my second try after respecking all of my characters. So
yeah, so
done
you were
with
pretty
that.
much at the end, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was on the final boss fight and lost last week, and I was pissed off because it just seemed, I was like, this is impossible, holy moly. But I looked up some stuff and they were like, yeah, you needed to have spec'd your characters a certain way to get certain abilities, and if you don't have those, you're basically fresh out of luck. So did that. Good riddance, but it's still good game. I would still say go check it out. Go play it.
Okay.
Gameplay is a lot of fun. Besides that, I also beat Portal. Mentioned last week that I started playing that with my girlfriend. I was hoping to have gotten that all done in one sitting, but unfortunately, I started to get really motion sick.
Oh, yeah.
When I did, so I had to stop, and then we went back to it this week, and we had half an hour left.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's just God damn it! Why couldn't have I just lasted half an hour longer?
Yeah, but, Portal 1, it's beating it on one sitting is pretty doable. But yeah, I get it. That's one game that you for sure, if you can get motion sick, you will get motion sick with that game.
It's not even that bad of it's not one I would expect to get motion sick in, but I think it was the perfect storm for me, where it was a mix of the older 3D graphics and using a mouse and keyboard to move really fast And I hadn't eaten much that day and it was hot in the room, and I was just like, I don't feel good.
Yeah.
But done with that, which is that was my first time playing it.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that was my first time playing Portal.
Oh, right, yeah, you did say it.
I've played the second one, and I love that one. And so once I was kind of midway through Portal, it was just like, oh, this is just the same game, but shorter and smaller. That makes sense.
Yeah, Portal 1 is pretty much like a proof of concept for Portal 2.
Yeah.
Like Portal 2 takes Portal 1 and then makes a whole game out of it.
Exactly. So eventually I'll replay Portal 2 because my girlfriend really liked it. She hadn't heard the cake is a lie joke and all that stuff, but it's a strange week to have played that game, considering all of the videos that are like, look, it's toilet paper, but it's cake.
Oh god, people are insane. People are going insane during quarantine.
I mean, I understand the like, hey, I guess I could learn to cook and stuff like that, but like those videos aren't necessarily new. Like I kind of remember those from a few years ago. Mm-hmm. Being like, whoa, it was a shoe, but it's actually a cake. Oh my god. But yeah, weird time. Sometimes you just like go on Twitter and it's just like, what are people into? Like, this is so strange. But yeah. So yeah, beat both of those games. But then I also got to play Paper Mario.
Okay, tell me about it, because I want to play Paper Mario, but I'm waiting a bit for it. But I'm curious about the game. How is it?
So I'm enjoying it for the most part. I think it's super relaxing. It's super charming. The writing is really funny, and I'm enjoying my time with it. I think it's a great palate cleanser. Especially after all the violence of Gayer's tactics and all of The Last of Us Part 2 and stuff like that. But it's adorable and it's fun. The one thing that I'm not liking so far is the battle system, especially the boss fights.
Why? Too easy, too hard, too what?
Well, so it's the normal fights. They're more like puzzles than they are actual like RPG style turn-based combat.
Okay.
And it is all right. I guess to back things up, Paper Mario. Everything is made to look like it's 2D pieces of paper, and the game starts out with Mario and Luigi going to Peach's castle for the origami festival, and then shortly after that is when things go wrong, and the game starts. But when you get into battles, you are standing in the center of this like circular stage, right? It looks kind of like a dartboard, and you are standing on the bullseye, and bad guys will come in at certain parts and then will move around on the board, and then your goal is to line them up or group them in certain ways in ways that your attacks will then do the most damage. You have a stomp attack, or like Mario's jump, but he will, if you line them up in a perfect line, you can jump from bad guy to bad guy and damage them all, as long as they're consecutive. So if you have two of them lined up and then a space and a third one, it will only do those first two, because there's no one in that third space there. And And then you also have a hammer attack that if you get a group of 4 of them, 2 by 2, and they have to be close to you, like they have to be in the squares right next to you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you have like from where you're standing, you have these like concentric circles, and then it's also kind of divided up like pieces of a pizza, right? So it kind of makes a dartboard hucking thing, and you can twist the concentric circles, help line them up, or you can deal with the kind of like straight rows where you can so for example, if I have like directly in front of me, if I have 3 bad guys in the farthest spaces back, and then the one right in front of me is empty, but in the line right behind me I have 3 empty spaces and then 1 bad guy in the farthest space, I can move it so that everyone in the line in front of me moves up, and the guy that's behind me is then transported behind them because it's all on one line there. So that by itself is not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, you have 60 seconds. It has a timer, and the timer just makes it super stressful to kind of figure it out. If I could sit there and be like, okay, if I rotate that one twice and then move this section so that they all line up, then like I can do that. It's like it's not that bad. It's not difficult at all. And for the like first hour or 2, it's all stuff that you can solve in like one rotation or something, so it's like this is super simple. But once it starts getting a little bit more complicated and they start introducing bad guys that certain weapons can't attack or stuff like that, you have to start thinking about it a little bit more complicated solutions, stuff like that. And it's stressful to be like, shit, I have 60 seconds to figure this out. And if you don't do it in 60 seconds, then you have to start attacking with that.
Mm-hmm.
The things might not be lined up. You might not be able to kill all the bad guys on time, and then you get more damage dealt to you because they will start attacking you. And so yeah, it's a little bit stressful, but it's not that bad.
So
the boss fights though. Go ahead.
Is that I've seen only from a few trailers they like what you're describing, the battle, the way you fight. Yeah. And one of my questions was that, or one of my problems was that it felt like you could just line or put all of them in whatever position that you want. So my question is, if you had unlimited time, could you put all of the enemies in the position that you would want, or is there like I can't make certain moves, or so I cannot light them always how I want?
So you can put them wherever you want, but that's not necessarily the best thing to do. There is a clear solution of like, hey, if you line all of these characters up, you can kill all 4 of them in one hit. And if it's like, if I had 3 of them lined up, but 1 was on the side, then maybe only 2 of them would die or something, and then there's more bad guys attacking me. I'd have to wait for my next turn to then see if I could line those ones up. So it's just like if you don't get the solution that they want you to get, the battle will last longer. You will take more damage. You'll probably have to use some of your healing items, but it will still be fine.
Mhm.
It's just like, oh man, I ran out of time and didn't solve it, or I accidentally hit the wrong thing, and it's just like, shit. All right, well, I have to work with what I have.
But you theoretically could put any enemy in any position that you would want.
Pretty much, yeah.
Got it.
You do have, so besides that 60-second timer, you also have a certain number of moves you can make. So it's like, okay, you have 60 seconds to make 3 rotations, or like three changes to the enemy position. And if you end up on something that's not super favorable, then yeah, you'll get hit and stuff like that. But
Okay.
It's not that bad. It's just like I wish there was an option to turn the timer off, and I could just look at it and figure it out and be like, all right, yeah, it's that one hit kill. Fuck off, damn Goomba, But yeah, it's not that bad. But they flip it and they switch it for boss battles. Boss battles are kind of a challenge. And on one hand, I like it, but my kind of thing is like, this is a Mario game. Like, your main target is mostly younger kids. This is kind of challenging. So for the boss fight, the boss is in the center of the ring, and you are on the outside. And instead of like you manipulating or rotating the circles and stuff like that, you still kind of have to do that. But placed all around the map are these arrows. And you have to, if you step on an arrow, you go in the direction that the arrow is pointing. And if you step onto the stage and there's nothing there, then you trip and fall flat on your face and you lose your turn. So you have to set it up so Mario steps down onto an arrow, and then maybe that arrow will take him halfway around the ring until he hits another arrow that points him closer to the bad guy, that then goes down to the like centric, the like second concentric circle outside of the bad guy, and then he has to go, around 2 spaces and stuff like that. On top of that, you can only attack the boss if you end up landing on an attack square or an attack tile thing. So again, you have to kind of manipulate the pieces of the board to put that attack square behind the bad guy or wherever you need it to be, and then manipulate the arrows so that Mario will step on them and will automatically navigate to that spot.
Got it.
But again, you still only have like 60 seconds.
Yeah.
And so it's challenging. There are some times where I thought I had figured it out and solved it, and somehow it was like, whoa, wait, what? How come he tripped and hit that square? Like, he's not like, what the fuck? And yeah, you just have to like hope you figure it out and stuff. With that 60-second timer, there's a lot of me just being like, well, I hope this works out, and I hope I can have enough healing items in stock that I can make it happen, or there are other squares on the board that have health on them, so if you're on your way from one arrow to the next, you can also hit a square that has a heart, and you'll gain some health There's squares that let you attack twice, or squares that let you make an extra like rotation to the circles and stuff like that. But yeah, it's challenging and a little bit frustrating. Just to be like, God, why is this so challenging when everything else is just like so simple?
Yeah, I'm looking at gameplay right now for our boss, and yeah, it does look a bit challenging, and especially with the timer and with the limited amount of ring moves that we have, it does seem quite the challenge. Like you have to pretty much visualize the path that you want before even selecting what ring you wanna turn.
Right? Like it would be super helpful if it at least like showed what path you would be currently taking. Like if you set them up and it had like a dotted line or something of like, this is where Mario will go, so you can at least like visualize it, but there's nothing. And so you just have to hope that it's the right thing. I mean, it's not too difficult to like see, but it's still just like sometimes you think you got it and it's just like, oh, fuck. So besides that though, I'm super enjoying it. It's fun. It's the cute Mario gameplay that you would kind of expect. There's not really a challenge to it besides the combat, so like I'm thankful that there is a challenge, but then I just kind of wonder, like, I don't think there was difficulty options. I don't like it. I just worry about younger kids getting stuck, and not really being able to figure it out.
Nintendo games never have really any difficulty settings, to be honest.
Not really, yeah.
But yeah, to your argument that you are surprised that a Mario game has this level of challenge, I would say that this isn't your typical Mario game that is meant for like younger kids. I would say that the other element of it being an RPG kind of like ups the challenge, I would say. Granted, it is probably baby's first RPG, but
pretty much
an RPG would come with a bigger challenge than, say, a platformer.
Oh, sure. Like I'm thankful that challenge is in there, because at first I was just kind of like mindlessly going through it, and then the boss fight came and I was like, oh shit, I'm actually getting my butt whooped. Like I need to like figure this out.
That was one of my worries with the game, that it would be too easy, but listening to you talking about the challenge of at least the fights, it is getting me more excited.
It's not too difficult, but it's still enough where it was like, okay, I have to pay attention to what this is. So it's good. I'm enjoying it right now. So without spoiling, I've beaten the first boss, or like the first two bosses, which has done like the first section of the map, and I think there's like 5 or 6. So,
it does seem like there is a good amount of bosses, from what I can see here.
Indeed.
Speaking of difficult and challenging,
you wanna?
Oh, do you want me to introduce it?
It sounded like you were segueing into something, so I was like, okay, Ignacio's got to take it away.
Sure.
So
Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima. Dude, I'm excited to talk about this one because I also got to play a bunch of this too. So where are you in the game? How long have you gotten to play?
The thing is that story-wise, I think that I've advanced pretty little. Like, all things considered, I think, like,
you're still in Act 1.
Oh yeah, I'm still in Act 1. Is that
okay? Cool.
So if you don't know, the game has like different types of missions. You have your main story missions, then you have your Stories of Tsushima, I think they're called, something like that, and then you have like tales, more mystical stuff, more like Like
Yeah, they don't really.
someone tells you a folk story and you have to figure out what's up.
Yeah, like they don't really call things like, "Oh, here's your main mission" or "Here's your story mission," but it's that there are certain objectives that you have to do, and yeah, they call certain things tales, because I guess it's like a more legendary thing. Like, oh yes, I remember the tale of the ghost of Tsushima.
Like there was this one of a guy that fought these lightning creatures. So that was the tale that they told you. And so it's about this other guy that wanted to learn a special attack that this guy made. So the whole mission is tracking this guy down, and eventually you do get to where this supposedly folk hero like lived and trained and whatever. And yeah, the game does this thing where it kind of plays on it. It gets a bit towards the fantastical, but not too much, where you can still have an argument on, no, this is just, there's nothing fantastical here. It's just people seeing something where it isn't. Right. So I like that the game does that. It does kind of try to blur the line on the what's real and what isn't, what is supernatural and what isn't.
So backing up again just a bit, Ghost of Tsushima is the new PlayStation 4 exclusive from Sucker Punch Studios. They did the infamous games. And yeah, you are one of two survivors from this Mongolian invasion. It's you and your uncle, who is like the big samurai lord, and he has been captured and kidnapped, and you need to go get him back. But you are not strong enough to do that right away, so you kind of gotta go bolster up your strength and find some new allies and learn some new techniques and stuff like that. At least that's how the game starts out.
Yeah. So where I was going before is that your mission at first is that you are supposed to go out and recruit people to help you save your uncle, because you're supposed to be the last surviving samurai on Tsushima. And so that's your first mission. So where I was going was that I haven't been doing many story missions, quote unquote story missions, because there are main missions there. You can clearly tell which ones are main missions. But I've done like, say, 2-3 main story missions, but I've been doing several what you would call side missions.
Yeah.
And the reason why I've been doing that, and it's something I don't usually do with games, because with games I want to just mainly main it. Just give me all the main missions. I don't want to do side missions because I don't want to get distracted. But I've been doing these side missions because in my head, since his goal is to find more allies, in a way it doesn't feel like I'm doing side missions. It's like it feels like I'm doing what his goal is. I'm going for that goal, even though they are side missions. Okay. So I've been doing those mostly.
That makes sense.
How much have you done?
I'm loving the game. I am enamored with this game. I've done like the first 2 of those story missions, and I've completed them, because I think you only need to do that first bit of the mission to like recruit them, but they still have extra things you can do after that to continue that story and like get more of like, who is this character that I just recruited, and stuff like that. So I've done the first 2, I've completed those, but yeah, I'm kind of playing the same way. Like, I'm just doing a bunch of the side missions and exploring and stuff like that. Because this is a beautiful game.
Oh, yeah. Very pretty, very artful game.
Gorgeous.
Like, everywhere you look at it, it's just so beautiful.
Which, one thing that I love about this game is it forces you to kind of slow down and pay attention to your surroundings and stuff like that. in the sense that the like guiding the guiding winds is how you kind of get your sense of direction. If you just stand still and you kind of look at all the trees and the particle effects, all the leaves blowing in the wind, the way that the wind is blowing is the direction of your next waypoint or mission or the thing that you have selected on your map as like, I want to get to this location.
Yeah, so the game doesn't have a waypoint system. It's you just have your guiding wind, which to me is one of my biggest complaints with the game.
Really,
being honest, and I think a lot of people like it, but I don't like it as much as a lot of people. Because one of my main complaints with it, and it's something that I said even when we first saw that mechanic on one of the presentations, was that it gets a bit confusing as to where you have to go, even with the wind. Because the wind isn't really telling you where to go. It works more as a compass. It tells you have to go this direction. So one of my main concerns was that I fear that it would get a bit confusing where you had to go, because the wind isn't telling you much as to where you have to go. It just tells you a direction. And something that actually happened to me was that I had to go to this one place, and on the road I had the option of either going up or going down. And I didn't know, I couldn't tell which way I had to go, because the wind just was just telling me go forward. But I didn't know if I had to go up or down, and I ended up going up, and it turned out to not be the right way.
Yeah, it happens. I've had that happen too, but I think the game does a really good job of making you want to explore. And just kind of dick around and be like, "Ooh, a fox! I'm gonna go follow the fox," you know?
Yeah, or all these birds.
Yeah, the birds too, because there's tons of little side missions all scattered throughout. There's shrines that you can find if you follow the foxes. There's these places where you can compose haikus if you follow the birds. Yeah, so there's I think it's shortly after one of like the second or third mission you do with I think his name is Ishikawa. He was the archer guy. It's like the second or third mission that you do with him. After you complete that section of the mission, there's a guy like standing on a rock not far from you, and he's just sitting there. And I went up to him, and he was writing a poem or something, and he's like, "You should try it." And then it like, to compose a haiku, you sit down on the spot and you like look out at nature, and it comes up with a screen of basically what you're seeing, and it will give you a prompt like reflect on fear. And then you have to look around in the environment, and there's a couple like button inputs that you can focus on, and it will give you a phrase for the first line of the poem. So you pick the one you want, and then it goes to a new scene, and then you pick the one you want, and then it goes to a new scene, and then you pick the one you want, and then it comprises the poem. And each one I've done, I've gotten a headband from, which I don't think the headbands do anything. It's just like, you now have the headband of courage, or you now have the headband of fear, or so there's stuff like that. But yeah, like it forces you to slow down and just explore, and which I like. I really enjoy that, but I think you make a great point with it's basically a compass. It's not like, hey, go up here, follow that path, turn left, down that way. It's just like, go straight in that direction.
Yeah, so
you
many
miss
times
it. Well,
So many times it has happened to me where I'm following the wind and I just get to an edge, very high of a very high place, so I can't just
man.
jump down and keep following forward.
I did that and I didn't see the ledge, and me and my horse just dove the hell off of that.
Oh yeah,
thing.
no, that happened to me. I thought I was so much lower to the closer to the ground, so I just jumped and nope, I was pretty up high.
And let me guess, I am using my psychic powers to reveal and guess that you probably named your horse Sora. Am I right?
I named it the one that meant sky, so I'm guessing Sora means sky.
I think it was that one. Yeah, that's the one I named my horse too, because I was like, hey, Kingdom Hearts. I know it has nothing to do with this, but Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, I thought you were right. Sorry, it's the guy in Kingdom Hearts. No, I didn't make any connection when I chose the name.
Oh well, that's what I was.
Yeah, because when you said, "Oh, I'm gonna guess which one you chose," I thought you said Sora because of Digimon.
Oh,
I forgot Sora was also the guy from.
Well,
Kingdom
yeah,
Hearts.
that would make sense too.
But no, I chose the one that meant sky because I thought a horse. Sure, sky.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
How are you liking the combat in this game?
I like it for the majority of it. Like I like the actual combat itself, actually fighting and blocking and changing your stance depending on the type of enemy that you have. I've been getting better at changing my stance depending on the enemy.
Yeah.
The one problem I have is that the game doesn't have a lock-on system, and it gets pretty annoying most of the time.
So
not being able to lock on.
This is something that a lot of people have mentioned online, and I have to say, yeah, at first I was baffled by this. It's just like, why the hell do they not have a lock-on button? Because yeah, the camera gets stuck behind a tree or something and you can't see, or your character is like your character will soft lock onto someone,
very
but
soft.
it won't change the camera angle. So you could technically be locked onto someone with your character facing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the character is locked on, but the camera isn't.
Right. Yeah. So it's a little bit challenging. But I know there's a ton of upgrades and stuff like that do kind of alleviate that. Whether it's the standoff mechanic, which is neat. I like.
Yeah, I like it.
You can run up on some bad guys and be like, "Hey, come at me, bro!" And then they'll send someone to fight you, and you have to hold
they
down
always send someone. Why would you do that?
God, I don't know, man.
Why would you agree?
For honor, that's why.
Sure.
Yeah, like I at first you can only kill one person with that mechanic, but I think by the time you upgrade it fully, you can do like 4 or 5 characters.
I don't know.
I've gotten it to where I can kill 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I like when I kill that first guy. My character keeps the sword up in the air, and then someone else will rush at me, and then I have to hit the attack button once more, and it will kill him. Yeah, and so like I think as you get better with those skills, like you can take out a whole group of them, without actually needing to fight, right? Stealth is not great in this game, but it's not broken, right?
Yeah.
So you can kind of stealth kill 1 or 2 people. I've unlocked the kunai, the throwing knives and stuff, and I just upgraded them so they have double damage. So I think I can kill people with them now that I hit them. But yeah, that's the thing where it's like you get enough weapons and things in your arsenal or multiple stances, and like, oh, if you dodge, now you have a dodge that will let you roll, or a dodge that will let you counterattack immediately, or stuff like that. So I think you get enough stuff in your arsenal that you will eventually not need it. I'm halfway there, and I'm starting to be like, I still kind of wish there was one, but I'm starting to get to the point where I'm like, I actually don't know if I need one. I just need to get better at the combat.
I don't know. I see your point, but it's just that there are times where it will be inevitable that you will have to even fight a big group of people, and there are times where you have to fight people while being inside, and that means that your camera will end up behind a wall, and so you can't see your enemy. So in those times, it does get pretty annoying that you have to manually move the camera to see who you're fighting.
Yeah.
So going back to stealth, how are you playing it? How are you playing the game? Are you being the more honorable samurai, looking at your enemy in the eyes when you kill them, or are you being a coward?
I don't think the stealth in this game is good enough for me to really want to play stealthily. I've done it on a couple of the places that I've come across. Like there's throughout the map there is a couple like outposts that will be like, this is Mongol territory. But then I came across one that was like a fortress. Like this was like the Mongol base, and I went in with that one and did that one entirely with stealth. So you can do it, but like, yeah, like I don't know if it's really good enough for me to really want to do that, because once you get into grass or you break the line of sight, they immediately stop looking for you. Once you get above their eyesight, like if you get on a rooftop, they can't chase you. So they'll just sit there and be like, hey,
wait, what?
Come down from there.
I've been chased up rooftops.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I've done that, and they like stopped and was like, hey, come down here. This instant. Don't do that. You're in time out.
I have been chased up rooftops.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe there was this one mission. Cowards.
There was this one mission where it's the mission that you and the archer have to infiltrate this fortress. And so I failed miserably at being stealthy there. So every time you have to restart the mission, as soon as I got close, everyone would come at me. So in my many attempts of finishing that, I ended up several times on the rooftops, and they would chase you up there and kill you.
Interesting.
Yeah, no. Okay. And speaking of killing, I love how they do you dying, where they get you killed down, but you're not dead.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the ability to actually pull yourself up from almost dying, I love how they have animations where your enemies to actually kill you in a certain way.
Yeah.
Whether it is that they kick you around or if there is a guy with a spear, he would just impale you, or a guy with a hammer, he would just mutilate you. I love the death animations.
Which is something you can do to them too. Sometimes you will get their health down so much that they can't do anything, and so they'll just be on the ground crawling, and you can hit square to, I think it says like end
their misery.
Yeah, end their misery.
Yeah.
In which you'll stab them and stuff like that. But yeah, like I'm liking the combat. I think because the game really, really focuses on like, hey, slow down, pay attention, stuff like that. I'm starting to get it, and I'm starting to understand it. But that's like also coming from someone who does not like Souls-like combat. Which I don't think this is there. Like this is not a Souls-like game, but it has
there, but kind of there.
it has certain things, that are reminiscent of
Yeah,
that,
it kind of reminds me of Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm really starting to get it, whereas like with Jedi, I really wanted to just go in there like lightsaber swinging, flopping all over the place, and I didn't want to slow down and make really calculated strikes.
Mm-hmm.
But then as a samurai, like that's what they do. That's what I know them to do, right? Like if you've seen like Rurouni Kenshin, right? He just does the like one strike and he'll beat someone. And it's just like, what the fuck? How did he do that? Like that. It's with this gameplay that I'm really just like, okay, stand here with my guard up, wait for them to attack. If they do the attacks with the like thing that I can dodge and counter it, then I'll hit the dodge button and then start attacking. I'm still terrible at parrying.
No. That's one of my problems. I feel like the window for parry is so small.
Oh yeah,
like, especially compared to Jedi Fallen Order, where I got pretty great at countering their attacks. I think that now, for Ghost of Tsushima, the window is so small.
Yeah, so I'm just keeping my guard up and waiting for that orange light to come on, dodging and then attacking them that way. But at the start, I was still like, all right, I would dodge, but I'd hit the dodge button like 5 times just to make sure. And then I would just, keep mashing the attack button. And that worked. And then I upgraded my dodge so that if you double tap the dodge button, he rolls. And so then he was too far from the bad guy to attack them. I was like, all right, so now I have to get used to only hit the dodge button once.
That's one of my problems too, is that I kind of wish I didn't upgrade it to where if you double tap, you roll, because most of the time I just want to move out of the way. But I always end up pressing the button way too many times, so I end up just rolling too far away.
You just have to slow down and be like, all right, once, and then attack.
Yeah.
So.
But going back to my question of how you're playing it, I'm playing it more like how a samurai would do it, where I just go in and
send your best man to fight me.
Yeah. Just stand up with anyone and just look at them in the eyes when I kill them.
Yeah, I want to play like that, but then also knowing that if I walk in like one of the fortresses and do that, there's gonna be like 30 people there, and I'm just like, fuck no.
Anyone who wants a piece of it, I come at me, bro. But yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of stealth in video games. But
same here.
I just found myself where in this game where they put such heaviness on the decision of going and being stealthy with your kills. Like that's making me want to not try, like in a way, not trying to break the code of the samurai.
Wait, so you're saying they think they're trying to push you to be more stealthy?
Well, yeah, because I don't know if it happened to you, but one time where I just went in a bit stealthy, so I killed a guy from up high. So when I did that, it triggered a cutscene where it was Jin remembering his uncle telling him about how that's the coward's way.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I do think that the game is, in a way, telling you, hey, this isn't right. You doing it this way isn't the honorable way.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, in a sense, I feeling more that I should face them head on, not being as stealthy because of Jin's code of being a samurai.
Okay.
Even
so
though I don't think
it's not pushing you towards stealth.
No, I mean the game doesn't punish you either way, but I do feel like, because of who Jin is, I feel like I have a moral obligation to do it that way.
Yeah,
I don't know
I'm feeling that too. I think it's actively pushing you away from stealth, but at the same time, it's being like, hey, here's throwing knives, here's a smoke bomb, here's a grenade. You know, like it's giving you all of these dishonorable.
Yeah, but throwing knives, you also use
dishonorable things, right? But like, yeah, like I'm actively feeling like I should be more of a samurai, but then I'm disappointed that it's not, like, the game isn't necessarily reacting to how I play. It's not like, oh, you have acted dishonorably this whole time, and so therefore you are you're no longer a samurai. You know, like it doesn't feel like there's consequences except for them trying to guilt trip you. Like, oh, that's dishonorable.
I mean, for sure, it isn't like Infamous, which is a game that Sucker Punch, a game series that Sucker Punch made, where they did show you the consequences of you doing either good things or bad things, and making you know the consequences and push you one way or the other. Yeah. I don't think that this game is trying to do that. I think that, like we said, it is kind of guilting you towards being in such a way, because that's what Gene believes in. So even though I don't think that you don't see any impact on the story, maybe, I do think that it is more of the player's personal thing of how you are reacting to what he's going through. The struggle of, I want to be as the honorable samurai, but I am kind of being pushed towards not being that. So how do you struggle with it? I think it is more of a personal player thing.
Yeah.
More than something that you see reflected on the game.
That said, I think just in general, they put so much into the sword combat and the multiple stances, and you can upgrade the stances so that they do certain things. Like they put so much love and care into that I think, despite the guilt tripping, the actual thing that is making me want to play more as a samurai is that the sword play is just so good.
But they also do, I do think that they did the same for stealth, where you can actually upgrade and have you, if you silently kill someone, you can immediately kill someone else, or you can upgrade your kunais, or distract a guard, or trying to go unseen while moving through the rooftops. I do think that the game does also put emphasis on you being stealthy.
It's not that they're neglecting it, because they still have some fantastic stuff for stealth. But just, I think in the long run, like, it's not a stealth game, right? Sure. But it's also not like Wolfenstein's view of the stealth game, right? It's like that. Sure, you can take out as many of them as you can without them noticing you, but then once you do get caught, it's just like, oh, guns blazing. Whereas this, I think, definitely gives you the options and gives you the tools, but it's still not great stealth.
Yeah, man. I don't do much of the stealth in the game, so I can't really tell whether or not it is really that bad or not. From what I've done, it's okay.
Yeah,
I haven't had any problem.
Fine.
The last thing I wanted to ask you is that, are you playing it? In which way are you playing it? Are you just English voices, English subtitles, Kurosawa mode, Japanese?
Currently, I'm playing it with the English voice acting.
Got it.
I kind of wanted to do that, at least for my first playthrough, to just be like, I don't want to have to like read subtitles and miss out on all the beautiful art and stuff like that. I just wanted to like understand it and be good with that. But I think I would absolutely love going back and using the Japanese voice track and stuff like that. I've heard Kurosawa mode is really cool, but then doesn't really fix things for color-based missions. Like, I've heard that there's missions down the road that's like, hey, follow the blue flowers. And it's just like, it's in black and white, dude. How do I know what the fuck a blue flower is? It's just like, well, figure it out.
How do you like the voice acting?
So far, I'm really liking it. I stuck with the Ishikawa missions as far as I could go with them because I really like that actor. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he is in Lost. He plays Miles' dad, and he is the guy in all the Dharma Initiative videos. And yeah, they modeled his character to look like him. It's the same voice actor and stuff. I was like, oh, I like this guy. Thank God. But yeah, so far so good. I've heard people kind of complain that some of the English voice acting does not match up with the lip flaps.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say the opposite because I've been playing it with the Japanese voices. And
Okay.
so I was gonna say one of my problems with it is that it felt like the Japanese voices weren't matching the lip flaps.
Interesting.
So I just thought that it was just because the lip flaps were synced to the English voices, but I'm guessing not. They're not.
Maybe I have it backwards then? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I've been playing it with the Japanese voices, and I like them. I really like them, and I do really feel like they fit the characters very well. And I think it being so much said in Japan and Japanese culture and all that, I do think that having the Japanese voices right there, it just feels right. The only complaints I have is that, of course, I'm not a Japanese speaker, so I'm having to play it with the subtitles, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not a Japanese speaker, but I do know certain words. So
hentai.
Sure.
Right? Yeah.
Sure, that's one of them. But since I know certain words, it does get pretty distracting, the fact that the subtitles aren't translations of the Japanese dialogue. It is clearly just subtitles for the English voices. And I even because I had the feeling that they had to be subtitles for the English voices, so I even went and changed the voices to the English track. And yeah, in fact, it is just subtitles for the English one. So it's just like that. It isn't, even though, and I get why it would be subtitles for the English voices, but the game, when you start it out, it gives you four core options as to the voice and all of that. And one of the options is Japanese with subtitles. So I thought that if they are going to make it an option, because you can change it to whatever language you want, but if they're going to make it a core option, I would at least expect it to be that the subtitles are indeed a translation of the dialogue of the Japanese track.
Interesting.
So it does get a bit distracting sometimes, especially when I know that they use a certain word in the English one, where in the Japanese track they didn't, or they said it in a different way, or the Japanese one said something, but the English subtitles are adding more to it, or that the English dialogue isn't translating certain words, just keeping it with the Japanese name. It does get a bit distracting sometimes.
Good to know. Good to know.
But yeah, that's
last thing on Ghost of Tsushima. How are you enjoying the story so far?
So far, I'm liking it. Like I said, I haven't done much of the core story, but what is in there, and even the side missions, I've been doing a lot of side missions. I really like them.
Yeah, I'm fine with the story. I don't think it's done anything spectacular yet. Where it's like, oh man, I'm hooked from the story. No, like I think the story is good so far. I'm enjoying it. But I think, yeah, it's really just the moment-to-moment like exploration and finding these interesting side missions and the way you find those side missions and stuff like that. I'm just having a blast.
Yeah. Or how you randomly just encounter, I don't know, I don't know if you've encountered it, but one time I was just crossing a bridge because I wanted to get somewhere, so I had to cross a bridge. But as soon as I did, no, I wasn't even crossing the bridge. I was in the river underneath the bridge. And then all these archers started shooting at me. And I couldn't tell where they were. So what I had to do
know what
is...
you're talking about.
Yeah, so it's pretty much like 2 hills. And on top of that, there is a bridge. So pretty much from both hills, I had several archers shooting at me. So what I had to do is pick one and go from the bottom up, killing all these guys, and cross the bridge, and then go to the other one, and from the top down, starting to kill them. But yeah, then after I killed them, I realized that they apparently had ambushed this group of people, this family. So what I did was just I saved these people from them, and I thought it was pretty cool that I wasn't looking for a story or whatever, but I just encountered it.
On it, yeah.
It just happened.
That's neat. So I found that same one. I was about to cross that bridge, and yeah, I was not in the river below, but I was up above, and they stop you and they flag you down, and they're like, "Hey, we need your help. We got ambushed by the Mongols. They're down below us in the river. Our son is still out there, but he's hurt, and they won't let us go get him." And yeah, they were all just sitting there like firing their bows non-stop. But from up on the hill, like they didn't know that I was up there, so I just stealth killed them all. Yeah. It's good. It's fun.
Good.
I'm enjoying it. Well, let's see. That about wraps us up for what we've been playing. So let's get into a little bit of housekeeping. If you guys did not know, we have multiple podcasts here at the Whatnauts. You guys can go to thewhatnauts.com to find out more information and see all of the stuff that we got. If you like what we do, patreon.com/thewhatnauts is where you can support us for as little as $1 a month. At our $3 tier, you guys can get all sorts of exclusive content from all of our podcasts. And Ignacio and I still have to figure out what we want to do for our exclusive stuff on Patreon or Crossplay. So be on the lookout for that stuff. Hopefully down the road, sometime soon. Who knows? We'll figure it out and report back. Last but not least, though, big shout out to our Patreon supporters at the $5 tier. Thank you, Sam, so much for helping us out, keeping the mics on, and for supporting us so long.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, in fact, we're having Sam on the review show this week. We talked about the movie Promare, the anime from Studio Trigger. There, so that'll be good. That'll be fun. Be on the lookout for all of that stuff. But that's it for housekeeping. So Ignacio, let's move on to the news of the week. First up, Sony is increasing their production of PlayStation 5. This is coming from Adam Bankhurst at IGN, who writes, Sony is reportedly increasing its PlayStation 5 production to 10 million units in 2020, as it sees the prolonged effects of COVID-19 pandemic boosting demand for gaming. As reported by the Nikkei Asian Review and Bloomberg, Sony had originally planned to produce 5 to 6 million consoles by the end of March 2021. But the change in demand due to the global pandemic has caused it to change course. Sony is said to have begun PlayStation 5 mass production in June, and under the latest plan, expects to assemble 5 million units by the end of September and another 5 million between October and December. What does this make you think, Ignacio?
This is great. Sony, for a long time, has been talking about how they want the PS5 to release worldwide at the same time, as opposed to how they handle the PS4 launch. So at first, when we heard that they were going to produce even fewer units than when they released the PS4, I think everyone was a bit concerned about getting their hands on one. But now that we know that they are going to produce even more units, that's great. That means that there's now a better chance that everyone who wanted one or who wants one will get one. And I do think that these might have something to do with the fact that the Asian countries have been going back to a certain level of normalcy right now. Like Japan is pretty much going back into a normal state.
Yeah.
I don't know. China, I think, also has things more under control around the country. So that means that now they have a better capacity of producing more units than what they might have thought of right before when everything was all locked down.
And meanwhile, me here in the United States, we're just spiraling out of control, man.
Oh God, how are you doing? Your country is doing so bad.
I don't even know, man. But yeah, so this is an interesting one because I think there are now more people globally that are kind of back to normal, like you said. But it's gonna be an interesting thing here in the United States. I'm wondering if sales here in the United States will be down. Actually, I know they cite a boosted demand for gaming, but I know that also unemployment is up in the United States by a long shot, right? So there's a lot of people who are trying to pinch their pennies and save and just pay rent, right? So
yeah,
we'll see.
I mean, for the United States, I think that even though it is going to be a worldwide release, I do not expect there to be. I do think that for those who want a PS5 at launch and who can afford it, I do think that they will be able to get hands on a console because, say, even though it is going to be a worldwide launch, the United States will be still the main focus of most of their production. So even though maybe as you have to spread it around the world, the United States will see maybe fewer units going their way, I do think, like you said, fewer people will be able to actually afford one because of the coronavirus and unemployment and all that. So I do think that if you are in a position to actually get one and want one, I do think that you will be able to get one.
Indeed. So
the rest of the world, I have no idea.
Are you thinking that it'll be easy for you to get one in Chile?
Maybe, because I don't know how many units we will actually get. I don't know historically how much we actually get, but I do think that if we get a good amount, if you actually want one, you will be able to get one. Just because I do think that I have seen several times cases in where you would see certain consoles or whatever be in limited quantities or had to find in the United States, where here I could just walk into whatever store I want and get one. It has happened that before. So I don't know. It will depend on how much units actually come this way.
Okay. Fair enough. So also this week, we kind of heard rumors of PlayStation 5 pre-orders starting to appear online, or at least like the information pages.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. However, Sony might be limiting pre-orders to one console per household. This information is coming from Matt Kim over at IGN, who writes, on Reddit, users who dug into the source code for Sony's direct.playstation.com, the company's hardware retail website, discovered new references to the PlayStation 5 that seem to indicate that Sony will limit PlayStation 5 orders to one per household. According to the user K. Garvey, source code in the PlayStation Direct website revealed an error message that could appear if customers attempt to order more than one PlayStation 5 console through the website. IGN verified the source code and can confirm its existence.
Pretty funny that this exists in a way that people can actually test, theoretically trying to buy more than one.
Yeah, I mean, so all they have to do is start digging through the website's code and stuff.
But I mean, again, like I said before, with them having to spread the units throughout the whole world, it does mean that in a certain way, the United States will get fewer units. So, to my argument before, where I said that if you want to get one and if you can get one, you will probably get one. I do think that this will help in that, limiting it to one console per household. And hopefully this will also maybe decrease the amount of resellers that can actually get their hands on multiple units and then resell them at a higher price. Hopefully, scalpers.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Or at least it'll make the process longer for them. Right?
More harder, yeah.
Yeah, so I think this is gonna help combat the scalpers and resellers and stuff like that, and will help ensure that, hey, if you want one, you'll probably get one, but we'll see.
Yeah, so with all this, I don't expect it to be a scenario similar to that of the Wii, where people were going crazy trying to find one. I do think that it will probably be a smooth launch, all things considered. And sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, I remember having to do that for my PlayStation 2, like call the stores and be like, hey, do you have one? But like, no, sorry. And then when they finally did, I was like, great, hold it, I want that one. I will be right in.
PS2, man, you're old.
Yep, back in the day, man. Wasn't even my first console.
But yeah, and also something that I wanted to bring up was that you mentioned how people were going, not crazy, but rumors were floating that on a certain day, Sony was just going to release the pre-orders. And so Sony eventually came out later and said that we will tell you in advance when pre-orders will go live. And I thought that was pretty neat to know.
Interesting.
You won't just get surprised one day and you look at Twitter and everyone goes wild.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like when they do finally announce that pre-orders are up and we know the price and stuff like that, I don't feel like they're necessarily gonna do a like video event thing, especially since the price is kind of rumored to be kind of hefty. Like, I don't think they want to recreate the meme of it is $600, it is $700, you know, like I don't think they want that, and I think they would rather just put that information out as a blog post or something. In that sense, that really is the surprise, right, of just them putting out the blog post. But maybe that means they'll be like, hey, we are going to be announcing the stuff on Thursday, you know, and then you have to wait a week or so until that date. But I think no matter what they do, I think it's going to be happening real soon. So we got the Xbox presentation this week. So we'll see what Xbox does. Who knows? Wondering if Sony will do something in response to that.
Maybe. I think there is a rumor that there will be another state of play in August. So, yeah,
Okay.
we'll know more by then.
Gotcha. Let's move on to number 2. Speaking of Microsoft, Microsoft is ending the Xbox One X and SAD Edition production. This is coming from Ben Gilbert at Business Insider, who writes, Microsoft is thinning its expansive portfolio of Xbox consoles. Both the Xbox One X and Xbox One S all digital edition production runs are ending. Microsoft said in a statement sent to Business Insider on Thursday, Microsoft will continue to produce and offer the Xbox One S console, but the focus going forward is on next-gen Xbox Series X consoles. A natural step as both Sony and Microsoft shift to the next gaming generation. I was not expecting this one so soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess so soon, yeah, you're right. But it does kind of make sense because before I was wondering where would the Project Lockhart, the long rumored Project Lockhart, fit into all of the Xbox consoles that there are. Because considering these two consoles, we would have had the One S, the One S All Digital Edition, the One X, Project Lockhart, and the Series X.
That's 5.
So with the One X, I was wondering, so the Lockhart has to be more powerful than the One X, but we know that it will be less powerful than the Series X. So they have to find a middle in there with the power specs and whatever. So I think discontinuing the One X makes sense to make room for the Lockhart, whatever that is. But the SAT edition over the One S, that's what I found weird.
That's a little bit of an interesting one. Well, so yeah, like I thought they would maybe get rid of the One S completely, and then have the One X be their new like low end last gen console. Because I would expect them to lower the price, when they announce the new one. But I guess they are getting rid of the Xbox One X, and then keeping the regular One S, and then Lockhart is essentially replacing the One X as their like mid-tier thing.
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, this one kind of came out of nowhere. I was expecting this eventually, right? But like not so soon, especially since Xbox has been about like, hey, it doesn't matter what you play on, right? Play on any of our consoles, which it's not like the Xbox One X will just stop working. They just are happening to stop making this one. Yeah. Sorry, guys, your consoles are now dead. They're not going to work anymore.
Yeah. One of the reasons I think that maybe why they're doing this so soon is that we all know that all of the One consoles aren't selling that well compared to the PlayStation 4s. So that's something we all know. So I'm guessing this is Microsoft just accepting defeat and moving on and using whatever resources that would have gone towards producing all these consoles, rerouting them now towards producing more Series X consoles to have at launch.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why they might have done it this early.
Yeah, I don't know if accepting defeat is maybe the right term, but yeah, I know I know what you mean with that though. So I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
And to me, let's move on to number 3. here in our list of news stuff, I am super excited about this one. Game Pass is coming to had my things all mixed up there. Xcloud is coming to Game Pass.
Is Xcloud coming to Game Pass or Game Pass going to Xcloud? Because I would say Game Pass is coming to Xcloud.
I would say the opposite, because they're
I don't know.
adding Xcloud to Game Pass is what this thing says. So
Yeah, but that means that you can use Game Pass on Xcloud.
Yeah, but you can use the Xcloud on Game Pass.
Just read the news.
Who's on first? So Nick Summers writes this one, and he is from Engadget. And they write, "We've known for some time that Microsoft wants to add Project Xcloud, its video game streaming technology, to Xbox Game Pass, a subscription service that offers a huge library for one monthly fee. Today, the company, right, I guess this past week, the company has revealed exactly when that will happen. September. In a blog post, Xbox chief Phil Spencer explained that Xcloud will be available at no additional cost for Game Pass Ultimate members." I am stoked about this. I think this is a baller move to have this be at no additional cost. Oh, man, I at least would have thought to have them be like, "Hey, we are upping the price to $20 a month or however much," and yeah, it's just like $5 more, but now you also get Xcloud. You can play on your phone, you can play on your tablet. Like I'm super excited because it's coming really soon and at no additional cost. I think that's going to be wild.
Microsoft just doing moves like they have all this time, especially Game Pass. The amount of games that you get with Game Pass, it's one of the best deals in video games right now.
Exactly.
So Microsoft kind of combining Xcloud with Game Pass, it does make sense with how they've been doing stuff lately.
Yeah.
But yeah, Xcloud is great from when I tried it out. So I'm glad that they are making it easier to actually get into it if they are combining it with Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah. It's like you did the iOS one, right?
Yeah, the iOS test trial thing.
Okay. I kind of
and it worked really well.
Stuff, man. I have not tried it out, but I would absolutely be excited to try it. Like use my laptop or something. So
coming up very soon.
Indeed, good stuff, man. It's good stuff. Especially, I mean, maybe they will raise the price down the road, but at least for now, no additional cost. Especially like right before the new consoles come out. Ooh, man, they will be printing money. Gonna be great. Speaking of not so great stuff, though, number 4, Dr. Disrespect still has no idea why he was banned from Twitch. This is coming from Joe Scrubbles at IGN, who writes, "Popular streamer guy Dr. Disrespect Beam says he still doesn't know the reasoning behind his ban from Twitch, but has confirmed he won't be returning to the platform, and clarified that he's not interested in an exclusive streaming partnership at this point. He says he's considering legal action against the platform." This is still one that just baffles me.
Yeah. And the interviews themselves aren't helping it that much. Or they are helping actually to increase the mystery and the weirdness of the story.
Yeah.
Because he did several interviews with different people, different outlets, and didn't really say much in any of those. And then you add to that the fact that they all came out at the same time. So it does kind of feel like it was kind of a publicity stunt. But yeah,
Well,
no. Well, what?
I feel like he's come out to say that this is not a publicity stunt. I feel like Twitch has too, but
no, I don't think that the whole him getting banned is a publicity stunt. I think that the way that he handled the interviews, like having them holding them to a specific time so that they all would come out at the same time, it did look or felt like a publicity stunt on, like, him taking advantage of a bad situation, like doing the best he can with the bad situation.
He has a business to run, so to speak, right? And like as a video game player, right? I think he kind of understand how the news cycle works of just like, hey, if they're not watching me, if they aren't doing that stuff, if they aren't following my channel and subscribing, they're going other places. And so if I'm not in the news cycle, if I'm not talking to someone, then they're not talking about me.
Yeah,
right?
No, I mean, props to him that he took such a bad thing that happened to him, basically losing his job in a way, and taking that and making this, like, kind of like turning it into his favor, on his favor.
Yeah, it's a weird one because I'm absolutely not a fan of Dr. Disrespect, but it's strange to me that there's just no information. And Twitch is not speaking. Dr. Disrespect is not being like, well, maybe it was this one thing, but I don't know. That was like a month ago, you know?
Well, no one's speaking about it. No one's saying anything,
exactly.
which makes it even weird. Like, you would have heard rumors or someone come out and say something if he did something that was that bad, but no one's saying anything.
Yeah. Because I know, I think it was last week, they also suspended Trump's Twitch channel. And it was only a 2-week suspension because he was promoting hate speech and stuff like that. So like that happened around the same time, which also happened shortly after all of the Black Lives Matter stuff, which Twitch had their own misstep that they did this past week with that stuff too. They put out this video like in support of all of the Black Lives Matter stuff, but there were no black people in there. There was like 3 of them, and it was just this weird thing of like, you didn't run this by any black people, did you? And so like something, like, I feel like something weird is going on with Twitch to like have to put up with all of this stuff at once and figure out what to do, especially in the midst of COVID. And like, it's hectic, and I don't know, something is up.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This now has become one of the great gaming mysteries that make life even more interesting.
Want the no clip documentary?
Yeah,
damn it, gonna happen there. So that wraps us up for the news. Let's jump on to our new and notable section. We had a Nintendo Direct Mini happen just this morning. Actually, they kind of like stealthily put this out at midnight here on the East Coast, of just like, hey, first thing bright and early will be a Nintendo Direct Mini, focusing on all of our partners and stuff like that. So there's a few announcements here coming from that. Number one, Cadence of Hyrule is going to be getting 3 DLC packs. I don't know what that word is supposed to be in my notes, but it is full of new characters, songs, story content, and a season pass to get all of those things. Next up, Rogue Company got a new trailer and is out in early access right now. I think that's available on all platforms, not just Switch. Then the WWE 2K Battlegrounds got a brand new trailer. If you guys are a fan of that, might want to go check it out. Then Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne is getting an HD remaster coming 2021 for both Switch and PS4. And then Shin Megami Tensei 5 is also coming 2021. Ignacio, thoughts? Anything to say on this stuff?
That's something that happened today.
It sure is, Ignacio.
Yeah, I mean, so for most of last week, rumors were floating around that we would get some Nintendo news this week, and specifically on Monday. So everyone was hoping that Nintendo would finally, I don't know, show new stuff, because we don't know about anything from Nintendo that's coming out in the future.
Yeah.
We don't have any solid dates.
Or at least the rumored plans of hey, it's Mario's 35th birthday this year. Here's all the Sunshine remastered on Switch, and here's this, and here, there's been nothing.
That's what everyone was hoping for. That this week we were going to finally get a confirmation that those games are actually real and coming out. So then come yesterday midnight to see these, which first it was a mini direct, and that it was about their partners, and then it came out that it was going to be 10 minutes long. And then we got these, which, I mean, what we got DLC for Cadence of Hyrule, a game that I've never heard about, Rogue Company, new footage for WWE 2K, Shin Megami Tensei, which I know a lot of people actually are fans of that. So, I mean, for them, I'm guessing it was a great time, or they got something great out of it.
I feel like they could have, the Rogue Company thing is not necessarily something that Nintendo needed to talk about, since it's out on all consoles, right?
Yeah.
Debuting a new trailer, I felt like the WWE 2K account or whatever they have could have put that out themselves. Mm-hmm. The only things they really have is the Cadence of Hyrule stuff and Shin Megami Tensei, which maybe could have just been a tweet.
Or they could have been part of something bigger.
Right? Yeah, or later. Just save it for a couple months or however long and use it in something else. This was just weird. I mean, at least we got something, but I don't think this was enough to really make a splash.
Yeah, I mean, even after these, we don't know nothing that's coming from Nintendo.
Yeah.
We don't have any solid date for anything coming from Nintendo. Of course, we know Breath of the Wild 2 will come out eventually, and Metroid Prime 4, but we don't have any solid dates for anything in the future of Nintendo.
Yeah. Oh well. We'll see. We got Paper Mario to hold us down.
Yeah.
But next up, Destiny 2's Beyond Light expansion has been delayed to November. So if you guys were hoping for that one, I think it was originally slated to be out in September. I think you now have to wait 2 more months to get all of that stuff. Marvel's Avengers will host 3 beta weekends this coming month in August. I think you have to pre-order the game to get in, at least on the first one.
Yeah, I think the first 2 are tied to pre-orders, and then the last one is an open beta.
Okay. There you go. And then last but not least, Yakuza Kiwami 2 is coming to Game Pass July 30th. If I'm not mistaken, I think both Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami, and Kiwami 2 are all coming to Xbox on that same date. I thought
they were already there.
Well, 0 and Kiwami are on Game Pass, but I don't know if they've done a physical release or like an actual, like you can buy this on the store. But yeah, so then 0, Kiwami, and Kiwami 2 will now all be on Game Pass July 30th, which I'm excited for because I've only played Kiwami 1. So I would love to dive into Kiwami 2.
Yeah, no, you should play
that.
These games. The Yakuza games
was good, man.
Yeah, no, they're great, and I think Kiwami 2 might be one of the better Yakuza games.
Nice. Hey, good stuff. Last but not least, our last section here, let's get to the upper runners. So a Stadia Connect happened.
It did?
Supposedly.
Yeah.
So I remember them announcing this thing, and then I completely forgot about it. And I didn't hear anyone talking. Yeah. And it didn't seem like any real announcements happened, so...
Yeah, not much.
Poor Stadia. Who knows?
I can't remember what they talked about.
Who knows?
I mean, they talked about Ubisoft games coming out on Stadia. They kind of implied that they were day and day on Stadia, but they have enough wiggle room for that to actually not be the truth.
Ubisoft seems to be the only publisher working with them.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, not much happened in the Stadia Connect.
The Last of Us Part 2 it has been the biggest launch of 2020 and is the second biggest U.S. launch ever, only behind Spider-Man. Currently, it is the third spot in the cumulative sales for 2020, behind Animal Crossing in the second spot and Modern Warfare in number 1.
Ooh.
That one's a little bit of a surprising one for me. I knew Call of Duty sells really well. I expected it to be up there, but I would have thought Animal Crossing would have taken that top spot, but
well, I
guess not.
It has to do with the rise of, what's it called? Warzone.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, in movie news, the Just Cause movie lands its director, Michael Dowse, who I believe directed Stuber and Coffee and Kareem on Netflix. Also in TV news, Dragon's Dogma is getting an anime coming to Netflix this September. And supposedly the Uncharted movie is about to be in production. I didn't add that one to the doc, but they're about to start or something.
Tom Holland posted a picture on Instagram of one of the chairs for the actors. I think it said Nate, so it would have been his chair. So yeah, they pretty much confirmed that they started production on the Uncharted movie, which I think it is the furthest it has gotten. The movie. This
is the furthest it's gotten, but it's been in development hell so long that when Mark Wahlberg was originally cast, he was cast as Nate, and now he is cast as Sully.
Yeah.
So
we'll have to wait and see if it will ever come out.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it for that one.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Reggie Fils-Aimé, good old Reginator, is now a strategic advisor for the indie publisher Rogue Games. I don't know how this affects his status on the GameStop board of directors or whatever he was on.
He's also a teacher in some college.
There you go.
If I'm not mistaken.
Something like that. But yeah, Reggie is making moves. He is doing
moves
things.
during his retirement.
strategically advising all sorts of people, you know?
Yeah.
Good for him. But yeah, that wraps us up for this week. Ignacio, what are you excited to get into this week?
Oh, more Ghost for sure. Yeah.
Or Ghost. I've heard the game is, well, I guess I don't know exactly how long the game is. I think it was Brian Altano that said he was like 50, 60 hours in and still hadn't beaten it. But he was also saying that he was just like exploring stuff like that. So that might be the longer end of things.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm moving at a slower pace, going through all of the side missions.
Indeed. Yeah, I'm having a blast being a samurai. I want to go back to Paper Mario, but I'm feeling the call of the samurai. I don't know, man. We'll see. See what happens. It's a busy week for me this week, so see how far I get. Ignacio, where can they find you on the internet?
Well, they can find me on Twitter at Ignacio Rojas B. That's IGNACIOROJASB. That's my name.
You can find me at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter and Instagram. If you guys want to stay up to date with our shows, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter. Go like, share, subscribe, do all of that stuff. I know we don't do a video podcast yet for this show, but we do have a YouTube channel, and I think we're sitting at 79 subscribers still. So if you guys could follow us on YouTube, that would be amazing. Go follow us on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/the Whatnauts. Use some help over there as well. Go do all that stuff. You guys know the deal. We will get out of here for now. This has been episode 34 of Crossplay. We will be back next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for checking out our podcast. We hope you enjoyed that one. If you guys are playing Ghost of Tsushima, let us know in the comments below how you guys are liking that. Or if you're playing Paper Mario too, let us know. In the meantime, go subscribe to our channel right up here in this corner. Go watch one of our other podcasts right down there. That would help us out a ton, and I feel like I have the hiccups, but I don't. It's like stuck right here. Chest. Weird. All right, until next time, though. Bye.